The girl with the blue eyes was a stunning model known all over the world. But to her family, she was Rauda Atif, a caring young woman much more committed to a career in medicine than photo shoots. She was at university in Bangladesh with plans to join her family in Australia to finish her studies. Then, 7 months ago, she was found dead in her college dorm room. Police claimed Rauda's death was suicide, but there's substantial evidence that points to murder. The question for her grief-stricken family is why. And a warning, some of the detail you're about to see is confronting. Rauda Atif had the double blessing of being smart and beautiful. A striking Vogue cover model with even more ambitious plans for the future. Australia and the world beckoned.
Rauda was a beautiful, intelligent young woman who had so much to live for. She was a second-year medical student at university over in Bangladesh, but the plan was that she was transferring over and coming to Australia to finish off her medical degree next year, and she was excited about that.
But her life was cut short in a brutal way. Police said it was suicide. Her father, Mohammed Atif, says it was murder.
It was a very shocking moment for me. I could not believe that she would hang herself or she would kill herself or anything like that. I know something must have gone really wrong there. Somebody must be behind this thing. Hide the case.
In their fight for justice, Mohammed and his family, who live in Perth, have enlisted international human rights lawyer Rabia Sadiq to find the truth. In your opinion, what does it look like?
I don't think it looks like suicide. In my opinion, it looks like she was killed.
Supposedly, 21-year-old Rauda hanged herself with a scarf from this ceiling fan in her college dormitory room. Yet the only real evidence, these marks on her neck, suggest otherwise. Australian forensic pathologist Joe DeFleu says they paint a more sinister picture of murder. This is the scarf that is alleged to have been used in the hanging.
Well,
does it match?
No, it doesn't. I'd have grave doubts that ligature caused that ligature mark. It just doesn't match.
Do you think there is enough to suggest from the photographs that you've seen that it might not be suicide?
Oh yes, absolutely. I have concerns about this case.
It's this evidence that has fueled Mohammed Atif's fight. It's now his mission to find answers.
I'm searching for the truth. I want to know the truth behind my daughter's death. Who killed her and why?
So this is the city where Rauda was coming.
Yes.
Why did she want to come here?
A lot of family members are here. My younger sister is here.
Rauda was planning on moving to Perth next year to continue her medical studies. Mohammed's come here to get help from lawyer Rabia Sadiq.
The family aren't going to give up until they get some definite answers and until they get justice.
This is with her mom.
That's her mum there?
Yes, her mom.
Okay.
She was among the top 10 students in whole Maldives.
She take after you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You're smart too?
I think so.
Yeah. Rauda grew up in the Maldives, but even in paradise, she stood out. Her piercing blue eyes added to her exoticism and changed this Muslim girl's life forever.
This is one of the most famous photo of that girl with blue eyes, this modeling.
Nicknamed Maldivian Girl with the Blue Eyes, this image went viral the minute it was uploaded.
With this photo, she got the recognition. Yes?
Worldwide.
Worldwide recognition, yes.
Overnight fame followed and she became a top model. But Rauda wanted to be known for more than just her looks. She sought to help people and yearned to be a doctor. Why did she want to be a doctor?
She wants to take care of people.
Fits in with her caring personality.
Yes, yes, yes.
But to fulfill her dream, she had to leave the Maldives and move to Bangladesh. Once Rauda finished high school, she received a scholarship to study medicine here in Rajshahi, western Bangladesh. So she moved to this regional city at the beginning of last year. Bangladesh is a strict Muslim country, and while the Atifs are Muslim, they're much more moderate and relaxed. Rauda tried to understand the need for cultural sensitivity.
This dress especially we have bought for her before going to Bangladesh because
She took precautions and bought clothes to wear in Bangladesh that fit with the strict Muslim dress code.
So she wouldn't usually wear something
No,
like
she
this,
wouldn't wear this type of cloth.
but she had to wear it for the school
For the school, and especially at the society.
and that society.
Yes.
In her first year at the Islami Bank Medical College, Rauda combined studying with modelling. She was offered a coveted front cover shoot for Vogue magazine. But when it came out, the reaction wasn't what she expected.
Some people were commenting, this is very un-Islamic or something like that. And some people were saying that she is belong to a Muslim country, Islamic country, and she should not do that.
Rabia Sadiq, who was also brought up Muslim, believes the Vogue cover may have been Rauda's undoing.
I know that comments had been made to Rauda in the months leading up to her death about her decision to model, about some of the clothes that she was wearing in her modelling shoot.
To live in this country, I have to follow some rules because of our culture, because of our religion.
Pia Janitel is a Bangladesh model who met Rauda during the Vogue shoot. The pair became instant friends.
She was very sweet. She was a very soft-spoken person.
Did she like to smile?
Yes, she was smiling all the time in the shoot. There was some spark on her eyes. Trust me, there was some spark on her eyes.
How difficult is it for someone to become a model in a country like Bangladesh?
For me, at first, I couldn't even think that I can take this profession. Modeling, oh my God, it's our religion not accepted.
Pia is well aware of the fine line Muslim models need to walk. She worried that Rauda didn't understand the culture. How unevenly matched was Rauda and a place like Rajshahi?
I was very shocked because a girl like Rauda, a model, a very moderate girl, it's hard to live in very conservative places.
And this culture clash may have cost Rauda her life. On March 29th this year, her university friend, Surat Parveen, claims to have peered through this tiny gap in the double doors of Rauda's dormitory to see the young woman hanging from a ceiling fan by a scarf.
Surat's evidence was that she saw Rauda hanging by the fan and then went around and had to break down her door to get in.
Surat's story is backed by the dormitory warden and about 7 other students who claim to have heard Surat's screams. They rushed to her aid, breaking the door down to get to Rauda. When police arrived, the scene was a shambles. Rauda was lying on the bed, given no dignity as dozens of people circled the room.
She was allegedly removed from the ceiling fan, and when she was found by the university authorities, she was lying on her bed. Now that's strange.
That block is especially for foreign students.
Okay.
All the foreign students reside in that block.
Men aren't allowed in the women's dormitory, but with permission from the college, Mohammed took us to Rauda's room.
This is the gap through which that students have seen her hanging from that fan.
This is the room where Rauda was found, and 7 months on, it's still a crime scene. Now, her body was supposedly hanging from a ceiling fan, which is identical to this one. Now, I'm no expert, but Rauda weighed 55 kilos. I'm gently pulling on that, and look what's happening. If 55 kilos was hanging from that, then surely the fan would come down. What's puzzling are the signs of a normal morning routine in Rauda's room. She was cooking a curry for lunch. A cup of tea sits on the table.
Mohammed, what's it like for you to be in here right now?
For me, it's very painful. You know, it brings back the memories of my daughter.
There's possible evidence of a struggle. A cracked glass mirror and glass table. But remember the door to her room that was supposed to have been broken down?
Was the door locked?
She said it was locked.
Looking at it today, it's clearly intact.
These are two strong locks. It's not possible to break open the door from outside without causing any damage to either to the locks or to the door from outside. There was no damage to the door from outside.
No sign of forced entry?
No sign of damage to the door from outside.
So someone's lying?
Yeah, someone is lying.
But Mohammed says the undeniable proof Rauda was murdered is on her body. He's convinced there's no way the bruising on his daughter's neck was caused by the flimsy cotton scarf police found hanging off the ceiling fan.
If it wasn't a scarf, what was it?
It looks mostly like some mark which is caused by something like a hard material, like a belt.
You think it might be a belt?
It may be a belt, yes.
Now, Mohammed Atif's no armchair detective. He's a doctor himself who's studied forensic medicine. He says these fingerprint marks on Rauda's neck also prove she didn't take her own life. And lawyer Rabia Sadiq agrees the evidence points to murder.
In your opinion, what does it look like?
The fingerprints on the neck would suggest that actually she was strangled.
Well, any bruising to the neck's something of concern. It's not a part of the body that you generally injure through day-to-day activity.
What stands out for you there?
We showed the crime scene photographs to Professor Joe DeFleu. He's a forensic pathologist who's conducted thousands of autopsies, both in Australia and overseas. He says foul play must be considered.
The appearance of those bruises to me looked very similar to finger marks of some type or other, to the extent that the pressure has caused bruising.
He agrees with Mohammed that the ligature mark on her neck was caused by a solid object like a belt.
Well, really, the important thing is how parallel it is, how well defined it is, both top and bottom. And then you've got this rather unusual area here, which really is quite reminiscent of a buckle or something similar.
If that scarf was used, what would the injury look like?
Well, what you'd see is a much more indistinct upper and lower border. You wouldn't have a straight line like this, well-defined straight line.
What do you think of all of this? You're a father who wants to know answers about why his daughter died. Yet there seems to be so much lying going on.
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of lying going.
A lot of covering up.
A lot of covering up, yes.
Coming up, the mystery of Rauda's hacked Instagram account.
How can Rauda, unfollow someone after her death? This is a very suspicious activity.
And why is her best friend now a person of interest?
Do you think jealousy is a possible motive?
Yeah.
That's next on 60 Minutes.